Many years ago, in the mid-1970s, there was a programme on British TV for children called Blue Peter. Really interesting programme. It had John Noakes, Peter Purvis and Val Singleton on at that time as the presenters, and they got up to all sorts of adventures and took you along as part of the journey. And I was fascinated by one story which came out because they were on a beach in Wales called Pendine Sands. And that's just where I am now. And Pendine Sands was famous because it's about 7 miles long, but I think about 11 kilometers long, something like that. Flat, compact sand, which in the early days of motor racing was an ideal place to have races. And they'd have motorcycle and car races on the beach at Pendine. As cars got faster, world speed records were becoming too difficult to do on public roads. And so, in the 1920s, Pendine became a mecca for land speed records. Sir Malcolm Campbell broke records here with his Sunbeam, 350 horsepower Sunbeam called Bluebird. And it was also a place where John Godfrey Parry Thomas being hyphenated surname, came along in the 1920s to try and take the speed limit, the speed record, in his mammoth car called Babs. Now unfortunately on one of those speed runs, Babs crashed. There was a failure on the car overturned, and J.G. Parry Thomas was killed. Now for a long time it was said that the right hand chain on the car, the drive chain, because it was chain driven, had snapped and partially decapitated him. Horrible story. What happened though is the remains of the car were buried in the sand here at Pendine. And in the 1970s, some people found the remains, dug it up, and Blue Peter, the programme, was there to see it. And I got a fascination for this place from then. And I've promised myself all my life I'm going to come out here and see what it was all about. And have a look at this fabulous beach. And a little delve into some of the story of the car and that. So I'm going to have a walk along the beach. Not all of it, I hasten to add. But hopefully give you a couple of little interesting tidbits on the way. The car, by the way, is still in existence, but I'll tell you about that shortly, so keep watching. Anyway, let's have a look at some of this fabulous beach. John Godfrey Parry Thomas was born at Wrexham in Wales in 1884. He was a motor racer. He was also chief engineer for Leyland and Leyland Motors. And what their main products were commercial vehicles. But he went into motor racing as a hobby and for fun, but also motor racing in those days was spurning speed. It really was. The speed record, which was well under 150 miles an hour at that time, something an awful lot of production saloons can do these days, let alone world speed record cars. They were trying to get the land speed record up as best they could. Let's have a little swing around as we're doing this. Now, after the First World War, Parry Thomas and his assistant, the infamous Reed Railton, designed the Leyland 8 luxury motor car. And that was meant to compete against the Rolls Royce. Now he drove that car around Brooklands, the infamous Brooklands circuit, in 1920, and that persuaded him to give up his career with Leyland and become a full-time motor racer and engineer. Now in 1925, Parry Thomas realised that commercial success required a higher profile than Brooklands could offer, and he switched his attention to the land speed record. He bought the Hyam Special from the estate of the deceased Louis Zabrowski and rebuilt the car with new bodywork and improved aerodynamics. The car was powered by a huge 27-litre Liberty V12 aero engine. Now, he didn't have Campbell's money and prestige or Henry Seagrave's factory connections, so he's unable to obtain a brand new Napier Lion as the other world's contenders were planning. The car was running in 1925 but didn't really perform as expected. In April 26, the car, now named Babs, emerged with another new body. He celebrated by driving the lanes around Brooklands that same evening despite a lack of headlights. The guy was mad. He was a head case. A few days later, despite the poor conditions and soft wet sand, Parry Thomas took the record at Pendine Sands in Wales, the same 6-mile stretch, 6-mile beach, not 7, that Campbell had used in 1924 and 1925. The following day, April 28th, 1926, he raised the record to over 170 miles per hour. A record that stood for almost a year. Now I'll come back to Parry Thomas in a few moments and his record attempts, so keep watching. But I'm just going to have a little description of what I'm able to see here on this fabulous beach. It is flat, absolutely smooth and flat, very, very firm underfoot. And I'm looking where I've just come down the ramp at Pendine Village. Now you've got the Museum of Speed, and I'm going to be going in there shortly, having a look and see what I can see. Really quite looking forward to going in there. But yeah, as I say, Campbell had taken the record to 150 miles an hour with this Sunbeam called Bluebird. First of many Bluebirds. It wasn't just one Bluebird. Bluebird was something that Sir Malcolm Campbell and his son Donald Campbell used as the name for their vehicles ever since, on land and on water. So it's got a huge history behind it. Now, unfortunately, there was tragedy in an awful lot of these land speed records, which will come too soon. But Sir Malcolm Campbell didn't die behind the wheel of a car. He, I believe it was cancer he passed away from. Obviously Donald Campbell in 1967, 67 I think it was, and Bluebird K7, which was a world water speed attempt, tragically lost his life on Coniston in Cumbria, where I live. So there's a big tie to all that. A couple of years ago, I had the honour of meeting Gina Campbell, Donald Campbell's daughter, and we discussed a lot of the world speed record attempts from her father and her grandfather. What a fantastic family legacy. Her cousin Don Wales, Sir Malcolm's grandson, is also a world speed record holder. And if you want to see K7 today, that was brought up from the bottom of Coniston, and it's now in the Ruskin Museum at Coniston. I think it's in the Ruskin Museum. There's been a few controversies over it, being a bit political, but hopefully it's in the Ruskin Museum. And Donald Campbell's remains are buried not too far away in Coniston. Anyway, let's get back to Parry Thomas and to Pendine. Now, I'm reading this from the Wikipedia site because it puts it a lot better than I can, so many thanks to Wikipedia, all credits to them. And I'm using this because I'm trying to educate a little bit on this video, so it comes under the fair usage scheme for the copyright. So, but thank you to Wikipedia. Don't forget to check it out. So basically, Parry Thomas, well, during the winter of 26-27, Babs, the car, was fitted with yet another bodywork, and this time the drive chains at the rear were faired in somewhat, half faired in. Thomas was killed here at Pendine Sands on the 3rd of March 1927, trying to regain his own world land speed record that had been broken just weeks earlier by Sir Malcolm Campbell on the same beach. At the time of the accident, it was thought that the right hand chain had snapped and hit Thomas, causing a fatal head injury as the car was rolling. It was reported that it had been partially decapitated. During the subsequent restoration of the car, though, it was found this could not have been the case. It was more likely that Thomas had been killed as a result of the injuries he sustained while the car rolled and slid along the beach at more than 100 miles per hour. Now, 42 years later, it was 1969, so it was right at the beginning of the 70s, end of the 80s, end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s. It was controversially recovered. And over the next 15 years was restored by Owen Wynne Owen, and at the time, a member of the Bangor University. For part of every summer, Babs remained on display at Pendine Museum of Speed, so hopefully it might be up there if I go and have a look, in Carmarthenshire, until the museum's demolition in February 2021. The new museum was completed in early 2023 and opened in March 31st, 2023. And I'm just going to go and show you that building, as you can see it from Pendine itself. Let's swing the camera around. And there's the building up in the background. Let's have a little wander towards it. So this is the new Museum of Speed. So I'm going to pop into there if it's open soon. If it's not open, you're not going to get the footage, of course. But we might actually get to see the infamous Babs. So as I say, thanks to Blue Peter, kids program in the 1960s, 1970s, I've had a fascination with this place, and I'm really, really pleased to be here. This is gorgeous. Now, I've visited somewhere else which was renowned for land speed records. A few years ago, 2013, we went to Daytona, and of course Daytona was also a place of land speed records for Malcolm Campbell. I believe he took the 300 mile an hour speed limit at Daytona in 1935. So just in a few short years, they'd more than doubled the land speed record. So let's go and see if we can get the museum. But before that, just if you get the chance, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, because both of those actions really do help YouTube to improve the algorithm, to let more people see my videos. I'm going to swing around, and these wonderful people that you're seeing on the screen now are my Patreon patrons, and without them I can't afford to do these videos, and also without the generosity of the people who buy me a coffee. There's links for both down below. Without them I couldn't do these videos, and I thank them really very much for it. If you'd like to become a Patreon patron, or if you'd like to buy me a coffee, as I say, the links are below, and anything is greatly received for the channel. Anyway, if I don't get in the museum, we'll cut it there, but if I do go in the museum, let's have a little look around and we'll see how we get on. Well, I've been up to the museum, had a little look around. I did ask the staff inside if I could take some video. They have a no video policy in there, which I totally respect. What they have though is a fantastic little small cinema in there where they show a special video all about a run along the beach in Babs. Now, I believe the no video policy came because of some idiot who decided he was going to, or she, we don't know which one, who decided they were going to film that film. Copyrighted, of course, and what they did is released it on YouTube, and that spoiled it for everybody else. So I totally respect it. I actually went around with the video camera. I have video footage, but I totally respect what they've asked me to do, and they're quite happy with me taking stills. So I took some still photography in there of Babs, which I'll hopefully be seeing as the video's gone on. But really, a lot of amount of respect. They were very, very friendly. They're wonderful staff, wonderful team. Two ladies on the reception, and when I explained what I'd done, they were totally understanding. But I agreed not to show any of my video footage, and quite rightly so. Quite rightly so. But thanks very much to the team in there. It only cost me £7 as an adult to get in. £7. It's a small museum, yes, there's not a huge amount there, but Babs is there. The original car, the one that they dug up from the sand, just I'm looking down on now. And you know, to be able to see something like that is fantastic. And when you've seen the video that I've done is of Babs running on the sand now. It's a combination of some of the footage from 1927 and 1926, but also from recently using the car on the sand. And you can feel it. It's got vibrators in the seats that you sit on, so you feel as if you're going along the sand at speed. It's a wonderful sort of wraparound display in there. Why anybody would video it, I don't know, but that's what they did. But I've got no problems with that. I've got no problems with the idea that I couldn't video in there, or that I shouldn't video in there. And as I say, I'll totally respect their wishes not to show the video itself. But yes, if you get the chance, this has really made my holiday. It just made me feel old when you realise that the Blue Peter thing was 55 years ago. But get yourself down to Pendine. It's a lovely, lovely spot along the beach here. Glorious it is. The sand's way out. Sorry, the sea's way out. The sand's meeting it. So the sand is way out as well, I suppose, yeah. But yeah, get yourself down here. Go into the museum, give it a bit of support. As I say, it's only £7 for an adult to get in. You can come and go as many times as you want during a day. It's a day ticket. So if you want to come out and have something in a cafe or something like that, then you can. But well worth it. Well, great value for money. So thanks very much for watching this video. Thanks very much for enjoying it. And don't forget this. Keep watching through the titles at the end, because there's other videos. There's links to other videos on my channel that you can see. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Until the next time, bye bye.